Right then, lads, welcome back to 99 Sport. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. In this video, we're going to be discussing my list of the 20 best Premier League players. And just to be fair, lads, what I've done in this video, I've gone through every Premier League side from 1 to 20, and I picked one player who I believe is, has been their best performer. Now, look, if we decided to go for 20 best Premier League players, we could just get them from a couple of, maybe 5 or 3 or 5 clubs. So what I've done is I've gone through every Premier League team, and I've picked one player like this, and I've made a list of my best Premier League players, but from each club, I've actually picked a player. Now, on this list, there are players that you will agree with me, and there are players that you say, look, Cossy, I do not agree with you, and that is the beauty of football. If you do not agree with me, let me know down in the comments below why you think I'm wrong on a certain player, or I'm wrong on a certain club. And their best performer, right? So number one, I've started with Manchester City, and I've gone with Kevin De Bruyne. Now, with Manchester City this season, it's been a little bit difficult for me to pick out their best player, and I think it's become so monotonous that Kevin De Bruyne just appears to be the kind of player that whenever we speak about City, whenever we speak about the best players in the Premier League, his name pops up, and someone could think, look, this is not aided, or this is not informed by any kind of research. But the truth is that is not true. If you look at Manchester City and their best performers, they have 2 players who have scored, who have scored more goals in the Premier League than Kevin De Bruyne, and that is Raheem Sterling and Riyad Mahrez. Both of them have scored 10 goals. But that is only, but the difference is only 1 goal, because Sterling and Mahrez have scored 10, and Kevin De Bruyne has actually scored 9. So you can see that the difference between them and him is very, very narrow. But I think the most important part here, why I've gone with Kevin De Bruyne, is the number of assists as well, because he has recorded 3 assists. Very, very unusual of Kevin De Bruyne. 21 games this season, and he's only he's only scored, actually he's only assisted 3 times. Maybe that could be, courtesy of the reason that they do not have a number 9. Probably yes, probably no. That is a little bit debatable, but he's really, really assisted very, very low, as by expectation. But even then, if you look at the players that have actually assisted more than him this season, you have Salah up there. I think Salah has Jared Bowen, both I think Salah has 10 assists, and then Jared Bowen has 8 assists. So yes, the difference between Salah and Kevin De Bruyne is huge in terms of assists. But at Manchester City, the players that have actually assisted many times there, you think about Bernardo Silva, who has scored, who has assisted 5 times, and then you also think about Ike Gundogan, who has assisted 5 times. But the difference between them still and Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne has scored more goals, 9 goals from his position as a midfielder. I think he's really done well, and definitely for me at City, you have so many big talents in there. You have so many players that are really doing well, but I think Kevin De Bruyne really deserves to be on this. So I've gone with Kevin De Bruyne from Manchester City. 9 goals so far, 3 assists. Look, his tally for assists is what puts him down, and it's what really puts him behind players like Salah, very, 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 very far away from them. In number 2, I've gone for Liverpool, and from Liverpool, I think it's easy. It's easy to choose the best player from Liverpool, and that is Mo Salah. But I think the beauty with Liverpool, more similar to Manchester City, they have so many players that that actually following Mo Salah. They might not be giving you what Mo Salah is giving you, because Salah this season, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. 19 goals scored with 10 assists. That means he's actually involved himself in 29 goals so far this season for Liverpool. If there is a reason as to why Liverpool are where they are this season, it's absolutely Mo Salah has been absolutely brilliant for them. But also, look, for Liverpool, I'm not really saying it was hard for me, because the likes of Salah and Jota are in there. I think Jota has already 10 goals. Mane as well has 10 goals as well. So, they try to feed in, they try to add to that picture of this is a unit that is, could I say self-dependent from Salah, but you can see how important Salah is at Liverpool. So 19 goals and 10 assists. I think it's easy to say that he's the best player in the Premier League right now, or probably the best player in in the world right now. I think Salah, Karim Benzema right now for me, lads. If you ask me, to name one of the best players or two of the best players in the world right now, it is Karim Benzema and it is Mo Salah as well. So Salah for Liverpool, I think he deserves to be on this list in second, because I've gone on the order of the table. But if I was going to go in order of from 20th to first, then probably Salah should be up there. But I've gone in the order of the table standings at the moment. So Salah for me, lads, has to be there. There is no question. There is no question there. Number 3, Chelsea. A little bit controversial here. Chelsea, I've gone for Mateo Kovacic as their best player. I think with Chelsea, it's a little bit different from Liverpool and Manchester City. I think Chelsea have many players with a lot of potential that have actually not fulfilled their potential. Romelu Lukaku, Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, Mason Mount, Jorginho, Reece James. And if you look at how the season started, you'd probably easily say, Chelsea's best player should either be Ben Chilwell, who's actually at disadvantage because of an injury, or really started very well. But for me, for Chelsea, I've gone with Mateo Kovacic. Now, Kovacic is playing in that kind of he plays in that kind of number 8 role, that kind of that kind of role in that in the pivot. That is where he plays. Ball distribution, and I think he really adds so much to Chelsea's offensive. But he's assisted 5 times this season, 5 times only, of course, more than Kevin De Bruyne. That's not the reason I've actually put him here. The reason why I put Mateo Kovacic on this list is his consistency. If you look at how Thomas Tuchel has been juggling the side, and you find that there are very, very few players that actually that have actually maintained their place in that team when they are fit, and that is Mateo Kovacic. He's been there. Whenever he's fit, he plays. Then you have you have Eduardo Mendy, and you also have Thiago Silva and Rudiger. I think those are the players you can say at Chelsea. Have been very, very consistent. But what a player Mateo Kovacic is! I think what he lacked as a player was one or two things. He wanted that kind of environment where he would settle down and be the player he wants to become. He's got it at Chelsea. He's got it under Thomas Tuchel, and I think it's just brilliant. So for Chelsea, look, you could go for anyone at Chelsea, and might not disagree, but I've gone with Mateo Kovacic, and I hope you guys do understand. For me, right now, if we rank the best midfielders in the Premier League, Mateo Kovacic is definitely, absolutely in that group. Number 4, Arsenal. I've gone with Bukayo Saka. Arsenal is a confusing one. It's a very, very difficult one. And I think the confusing part about Arsenal is they have so many players, they have so many young players that are actually developing into that have the potential to develop into world-class players. and their performances are literally a result of a whole than individual brilliance. But why I've gone with Bukayo Saka? One, this is a player who missed a penalty with England in the Euros. That is in the summer, and when we came back, he's having one of the best Premier League seasons in his life. But not only that, the consistency of at his age. I think one of the pundits said it. I think it was Sky, and I was saying that what is interesting about Bukayo is look what he does. Phil Foden can do, Mason Greenwood can do, and a couple of other youngsters can do. But the interesting part about him is he does it at a very consistent basis, at a very, very consistent level as compared to other youngsters. Because there's so many other youngsters out there in the Premier League, like we will see in the upcoming videos of I will have a video of the 20 best youngsters in the Premier League. But Saka's consistency, I think his quality grows and develops day in, day out. There is no question there. But his consistency is something we've got to talk about. So Bukayo Saka for me, lads, 8 goals this season, 5 assists. That is so much. That is so much for a player of his age, just turned 20. And honestly, these 8 goals and 5 assists, you've got to give him credit, because this Arsenal side does not score as much. Yes, they do not concede as well, but they don't score as much. So 8 goals, 5 assists, the individual brilliance. I think, look, with Arsenal, next season, it could be Odegaard, it could be Martinelli, it could be anyone. But at the moment, I've decided to go with Bukayo Saka. Number 5, then Manchester United. I've gone with David De Gea. I think many United fans will not disagree with me. It could be Ronaldo. It could be Bruno on paper. But in reality, Manchester United's best player this season is David De Gea. Look, I think United should be lucky to have David De Gea over the past decade. They should be very lucky, because right now their problem is that they do not have a central midfielder, or they do not have a defensive midfielder, to be specific, and they do not have a stable backline. Bissaka, Shaw or Telles, and then Maguire or Lindelof or Varane, they don't have a stable backline. So literally, there is no short proof for David De Gea. He's always exposed, and what a goalkeeper is, what a talent is. So Manchester United, there is no question. For me, at the moment, he mightn't be the goalkeeper with the most number of assists in the league. But if you ask me if he's the best goalkeeper in the league at the moment, I could as well go and say, yeah, he is. He is. He has always been quality. Honestly, he's always been very, very, very quality as a player. So that is David De Gea. Number 6, West Ham. I've gone with Jared Bowen. Oops. Another very, very tight one here, Jared Bowen. Because with West Ham, I thought about Declan Rice. I thought about Michail Antonio. I thought about Jared Bowen as well. Look, it's very close between Antonio and Jared Bowen, because Michail Antonio has actually scored more goals. I think that is 9 goals and 1 assist. But the reason I've gone with Jared Bowen, what a season he's having for himself, and what a season he's having for West Ham. 8 goals and 8 assists so far this campaign. I mean, it's easy. He's one player that I think would play for Liverpool, play for Manchester United, play for Chelsea and for Arsenal, play anywhere as long as he's given the opportunity. And West Ham are absolutely very, very lucky to have him. So Jared Bowen, is part of the 20 best players right now in the Premier League. Look, I think it's unfair to Michail Antonio, because his goals as well are the reason. If you combine the goals of Jared Bowen and Mikel Antonio, they give you the result is the position where West Ham are at the moment. But I've gone with Jared Brown because we are choosing, we are taking one player per team, so I've gone with Jared Bowen. Number 7 Spurs. It's easy. It's Heung-min Son. Son has been absolutely phenomenal. 11 goals this campaign. 5 assists. But Ken has actually scored 10 for them. Actually, I think Ken has scored 10 goals this campaign with 2 assists. But Heung-min Son has actually engaged himself in 16 goals for Spurs, and I think he was there for Spurs when Harry Kane was shut down. He was there for Spurs when Kane was in a dilemma. He was there for Spurs when they needed someone to be there for them. That's the reason. That's why I've gone with I've gone with Heung-min Son. I think it's a no-brainer. If you look at what Antonio Conte has done to this team, how many players have been really, really consistent in that team? I think Son, apart from the injury, he's been okay. I think he's been very, 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 okay for them. 16 goal contributions, lively when Ken was down. It's been good. It's been really, really good. Number 8, Wolves. I've gone with Conor Cody. And the reason that's why I've gone with Conor Cody, I could have gone with Ruben Neves, but I've gone with Conor Cody because I feel it is their defensive discipline that they derive from their captain, Conor Cody, that has actually kept them in and around the top 4. They literally don't score many goals, so you can't really say Raul Jimenez or the likes of Podence or anything like that. Their strength is the defense and the midfield. Their ability to keep the ball and their ability to be to be goal proof. I think that is those are their very, very strongest points. So if you ask me, lads, honestly, Conor Cody for me, I will go with him as my best player, at Wolves. But I could easily go for Jose Sa, the goalkeeper. I could easily go for Ruben Neves in the midfield. I think he's been absolutely outstanding as well. So Conor Cody, lads, for Wolves. I hope you do guys agree. Number 9, Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins. Now this season, Watkins has scored 7 goals and assisted 1 time for Aston Villa. Amazingly, he's scored more goals at Aston Villa than any other player. And the truth is, he didn't start the campaign very well. He started on a very, very low note. I think he was really affected by the whole situation at the club. The fact that Jack Grealish was no longer with them, it affected him. The fact that they started at a very, very poor note, and all the signings they had actually not made a very, very, very positive impact. But I think in the last few months, ever since Stephen Gerrard was appointed, he has actually regained his form. I think they need the goals. They really do need the goals. Yes, they can get them, but the man that has actually been providing those goals is Ollie Watkins. So for me, I think he's a very, very important player. You can't think about. I thought about Jacob Ramsey as well for Aston Villa, because again, Jacob Ramsey has very, very, very good numbers at Villa, but I decided that my choice will be Ollie Watkins. Southampton in number 10, I've gone with Tino Livramento. Surprisingly, Tino has only 1 goal and 1 assist. He's a fullback, so you expect at least more in terms of assists to be around 3 to 5. Southampton are really struggling with chance creation and putting the ball in the back of the net. Their strength as well is their ability not to concede those ridiculous amounts and numbers of goals. Tino Livramento, I think I considered Kyle Walker-Peters as well, because Tino Livramento plays on the left hand side of the defense, and Kyle Walker-Peters plays on the right hand side, and they've been very, very, very key and very good for Southampton this season. But I've decided to go with Tino Livramento. Ever since he came in and ever since the season started, he's been absolutely very good for them. So Southampton, look, I think you have the likes of James Ward-Prowse, who has had a fantastic season, who's having a fantastic season. You have the likes of Broja, who I think 6 goals for a player on loan, and it's not the main striker. I thought about Che Adams, but I've gone with Livramento. I think he's he's outstanding as a talent. Number 11, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace. When I think about Palace, and look, I think we have a new picture of Crystal Palace. When we used to think about Palace, we used to think about Zaha. Now, when I think about Palace, I'll think about Conor Gallagher, and it is a shame that they will not be able to keep him. I don't think Chelsea, unless they are, they're out of their mind. Look. It's one player. If you ask me which player do you want your team to sign, it's Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher. So in our position 11, that is Crystal Palace, I've gone with Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher, what is interesting there for him, he has scored 8 goals for Crystal Palace this season so far, and he has assisted 3 times. How many times do we see him, in and around the box? So many times. How many times do we see him trying to make something happen for Crystal Palace? So many times. It all goes down to the way Patrick Vieira has set up this side. But the quality of Conor Gallagher is absolutely up in the air. So look, Conor Gallagher, for me, guys, there is no debate. You could think about, Olise. You could think about Ochan Edouard. Edouard has had a very, very good, impact on the team ever since signing from Celtic in the summer. You think about Zaha, who is still a very, very important player for them. There's so many players in that Crystal Palace side. They're filled with quality, but in the end, for me, it's Conor Gallagher, lads. It's Conor Gallagher. In number 12, Leicester City. I think for the last time, Jamie Vardy still performing and outclassing young players in this Leicester City side. But with Leicester, they are struggling this season. They're not even fighting for the top 5 positions. We are used to them to keep on fighting for those top 5 positions. This time, they're not even doing that. But if you look at what Jamie Vardy again has done for them this season, 10 goals and 2 assists. Those are 12 goal contributions for him as a striker. He's done his job. It's something with our players like James Maddison, because I looked at James Maddison, 7 goals this season, 3 assists. I thought about James Maddison as well, and then I thought about Yuri Tillemans as well, because Tillemans 6 goals this season and 2 assists. So look, they're all not far. Actually, I wanted to go with Tillemans because Tillemans has scored many goals from a position further away from goal as compared to James Maddison and Jamie Vardy. But why I've gone for Vardy, he always does his job, doesn't he? He always does his job. Look, this team is struggling, but he's scoring the goals. So you literally can't blame him. You literally can't blame him. So it was a tight call between those 3, but I've gone for Jamie Vardy. I think Leicester City, they just need to work on their defensive discipline. I mean, score the goals, but try not to concede as much. As simple as that. So Jamie Vardy for me, Leicester City in there. Brighton, lads. I mean, Brighton, this is one I would really say it was hard, but easy. Because Marco Kurela does not have the numbers. 0 goals, 1 assist. And he's the player I've gone for, Cucurella. But he doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't have the numbers. But the reason as to why I've gone with Marco Cucurella, ever since he's coming into this Brighton side, him and Tariq Lamptey, I think, arguably, in the mid-table, they're the best. I should say they're the best fullbacks, considering Carl Walker-Peters and Tino Livramento at Southampton, thinking about Kieran Trippier at Newcastle and the impact he's put in, is put on this team. Marco Correa has been absolutely disgusting, for Brighton. He's so good. Absolutely, absolutely good. So I've gone for him. I've gone with him as the best player at Brighton, left back, Marc Cucurella, new signing, and I think he's one of the best signings in the Premier League. If we ever do that video, I will make sure that Marc Cucurella is one of the best signings of the summer in the Premier League. I will not forget that. Right. Newcastle is easy. I've gone with Alan St. Maxima. His goal contributions are 8 this season, 5 goals and 3 assists for a team that previously, before the introduction of Eddie Howe as manager, was not scoring that much. So actually, it's only right to say that the goals of Alan St. Maxima were keeping Newcastle comfortable. They were the only hope of them surviving relegation, because apart from Alan St. Maxima, Callum Wilson had not scored very many goals for them, and even with the introduction of players like Chris Wood, he's only scored 1 goal for them in 8 games. Probably it was a panic buy, but Alan St. Maxima, phenomenal, absolutely very, very good for them. So I've gone with Alan St. Maxima also for Newcastle, and part of the best 20 Premier League players this season. Number 15, Brentford, Ivan Toney. Can you believe, lads? Ivan Toney has 9 goals this season and 11 goal contributions. That is good. That is good. If you look at the counterpart, Bryan Mbeumo, of course, both of them have been of massive help to Brentford. If Brentford is going to survive relegation, it will be Christensen, Bryan Mbeumo, and Ivan Toney. But Ivan Toney, 11 goal contributions, 9 goals, 2 assists for Brentford. The goals are really helping them, that much. Look, if they're going to survive relegation, you have Burnley there in that relegation battle. Burnley, Leeds, Norwich. I think Brentford somehow can survive. They can do, if they can only do better than Everton, which I think Everton will survive. I still think Burnley, Norwich, and Leeds will actually go down. So if Brentford can do better than those 3, then they will definitely stay up, but he's been outstanding. Number 16, Leeds, despite the fact that they are in a relegation battle. Can you believe it, lads? They have a player who has scored 9 goals and has 11 goal contributions, and that is none other than the Brazilian Rafinha. He's a talent. Yeah. He's a talent. But I think Leeds, they have suffered from the second season syndrome. They have sacked the manager, Marcelo Bielsa. They have sacked him. But I think at least they have a player. Patrick Bamford has let them down this season. His form and his I think class literally evaporated through the window. But Rafinha has been there for them. Right, and if it's not the open football, if it's not that ridiculous open, style of football that Marcelo Bielsa, insists on, probably there would have been a better side. There would definitely have been a better side. So Rafinha, lads, honestly, best players in the Premier League, Rafinha deserves a mention on that list. I honestly believe so. Right, then 17, Everton. I've gone with Demarai Gray. Yeah. So 17, Everton. I've gone with Demarai Gray. I hope I'm right on this. Right. I hope I'm right on this. Demarai Gray. With Everton, I thought about Townsend. I thought about Abdoulaye Doucouré. I thought about Gray, and Allen. But I've gone with Demarai Gray. This season for them, for Everton, 5 goals and 2 assists. He's a newcomer, as well as Andros Townsend has also done very, very well. I also thought about Richarlison, but the fact that Demarai Gray has actually played more games for Everton, he's been there for them, and I think there was a moment where he was the only kind of lively spark in that team. That's why I've gone with Demarai Gray. Burnley in 18, I've gone with Maxwell Cornet. He's actually coming and scored 6 goals for them. No assists yet, but 6 goals for them for a newcomer. I think during this period where they have had they have lost Chris Wood, but even before they lost Chris Wood, he had only scored for them 3 goals in this campaign. He's actually coming as an alternative source of goals. So Maxwell Cornet for Burnley, I think he deserves to be there on that list. Number 19, Watford. Can you believe Watford do have a couple of good players? You have Ismail Sarr, you have Emmanuel Dennis, you have Joshua King as well. But with Watford, and I thought about Sissoko as well. Sissoko he has only scored 2 goals this season and assisted once, but the coordination and the brilliance he adds and the quality brings to this side in terms of midfield is what made me think about him. But in the end, I went with Emmanuel Dennis. This lad is unbelievable. 9 goal contributions. Actually, 9 goals, 5 assists. That is 14 goal contributions overall for Watford. They shouldn't be going back. They shouldn't be going back, honestly, because they have... Look, I think the problem as well is defending football, because they have 9 goals from Emmanuel Dennis. They have around 5 goals from Ismail Sarr, and they also have 5 goals from Joshua King. But their problem is they do not have the defensive discipline required of a club that is fighting relegation. And in number 20 is Norwich, and they also have a best player. They also have a very, very good player, and that is always none other than Timo Pukki. Now, Pukki there is an outstanding player for Norwich. Can you believe Timo Pukki has scored 8 goals? 8 goals, right? 8 goals for them. And you have clubs that do not have players there. You have top clubs that don't have players with 8 goals. But Timo Pukki there has scored 8 goals with 1 assist, so that's a 9 goal contributions. I think if we had to be fair, he's done well. He's really, really done well for Norwich. So those are my 20 best Premier League players for this season. Let me know which player did I leave out that I should have definitely added in this list, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.